fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. It is time now. It is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the well. It is time now, and what a time to be alive. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. It is time now. It is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the well. It is time now, and what a time to be alive. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. It is time now. It is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the well. It is time now, and what a time to be alive. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love.
It is time now. It is time for us to thrive. Am I good? Okay. It's time for us to be mic'd and be heard. Good morning and welcome to the Boulder Valley Unitarian Universalist Fellowship. I am the Reverend Terry Schwartz. My pronouns are she and her. I am honored to serve as your transition minister and to lead you in our service today. I am joined in leading our service by Service Associate Scott Humans, Board President Janet Meyer. Today's music is provided by the Fellowship Choir, joined by Debbie Larson on percussion, Jeremy Dion on guitar, with Clara Kelly songleading. Today's tech team is Herb Axe, Larry Sherwood, and Kathy Partridge. It takes a village. This is why it takes a village. Take a big breath. Look around you. We shall be known by the company we keep. Here, that's a good thing. For those of you on Zoom, please switch to gallery mode so you can see everyone as a gathered community. It is not easy being human, and it's a lot easier when we don't go it alone. As I offer our weekly words of welcome, hold these good people in your midst and yourself in your heart as they hold you in theirs. You are all welcome here today. In the beauty of languages, cultures, skin tones, shapes and sizes, gifts and challenges, all that makes you, you. You are welcome here. In all the ways you experience and express gender, you are welcome here. In the beauty that is who you love and how you love, you are welcome here. In all the ways you make your living, all the places you are from, you are welcome here. With all of the traditions that inform your spiritual life, you are welcome here. No matter how long you are away, nor how soon you return, you've never gone too far or too long. You're welcome here. Some of us come here today with a body and soul that needs support. Some of us come here today with a body and soul that can offer support. We need one another, and we are all welcome here. And so join us. Those of you for whom this is your 515th service, and those of you for whom it is your very first service here, come with a curious mind, a loving heart, and a willing spirit. So if you're new here, you're on the side of the first service or 5th, 10th, 20th. A shout out to you. We are especially glad you are here, and it's not always easy being new. And so we hope that you can experience the warmth and love of this congregation in person or virtually on Zoom. Today we launch our annual pledge campaign, and we're going to join together over these next 6 weeks to pledge our time, talent, and treasure to make the mission and work of this fellowship possible for the next fiscal year. Now, our congregation, we are in a long line of Congregationalist tradition that is entirely self-supporting. So everything you see here is made possible by the people you see here and those friends and members joining us online and by their heart and spirit. There's no funds coming in from outside denominational bodies, other support. We're all crew. So if you're new here, some of this is inside baseball, right? Know that this Sunday is unique. We won't do this every Sunday, I promise. And like in PR, there is an end to this campaign. But please don't switch stations in the middle, because there's going to be some really good stuff during the campaign and some parking lot moments. Come back a few times and really get to know us, both during this pledge season and during the rest of our year. We've got many opportunities during the week for social connection and spiritual growth for newcomers, old-timers, anyone in between, to find your community within community. If you are on Zoom, check out the links in the chat so you can get connected. And after the service, hang out in that chat room and get to know each other. For those of you here in person, stop by the welcome table in the foyer to learn more about the fellowship. There is also a QR code in the back of the hymnal. How cool is that? And if you're all your phones today, I'm going to know that's exactly what you're doing on your phone. This afternoon at 3 p.m. right here is a concert by the Sphere Ensemble. They are a 14-piece string ensemble. Their performance will be a menagerie of Camille Saint-Saëns' Carnival des Animaux. Carnival of Animals. But wait, it gets better. It's with the B-52's Radiohead, The Tokens, and more. And that's really hard to imagine, so I'm going to let them give you a little preview. Thank you. So you all want to hear the end of that song. You're going to have to come back. So before that, right after the service, I invite everyone to come to the Fellowship Hall for the first ever Pledge Drive kickoff brunch. Yes, that is right. It is a catered brunch with food of all kinds for all kinds of people that are put on by our stewardship campaign and our co-chairs, Wendy Highsmith and Jean Canella, and many volunteers. This is also a way of saying thank you to the kitchen crew and all the folks behind the scenes who make this happen week in, week out for all of us to have fellowship. Table's been prepared for you. Choose something to drink, head to the food, but the most important thing is the company we keep. Enjoy one another. With that, take a moment to turn to your neighbor, greet one another on Zoom, say hello, and if you're new, give us a wave, drop it in the chat so we can greet you. Do you want the box? That was also your teaser for the brunch after the service. You get to do more of that. For those of you joining us by Zoom, if you have a chalice with you, you can light it with us here in the Fellowship Sanctuary. And so where we know everyone is, and we can send our love out to you out in the world, please write the name of your town in the chat. Congregation, I invite you to join me in our chalice lighting words. We light this chalice for the warmth of love, the light of truth, and the energy of action. As I ring the bowl again, come deeper into this moment and be here now.
Good morning. Our opening words today are by the Venerable Marge Piercy, to be of use. The people I love best jump into work head first, without dallying in the shadows, and swim off with sure strokes, almost out of sight. They seem to become like natives of that element, the black, sleek heads of seals bouncing like half-submerged balls. I love people who harness themselves an ox to a heavy cart and pull like water buffalo with massive patience, who strain in the mud and muck to move things forward, who do what has to be done again and again. I want to be with people who submerge in the task, who go into the fields to harvest and work in a row and pass the bags along, who are not parlor generals and field deserters, but move in a common rhythm when the food must come in or the fire be put out. The work of the world is common as mud, botched. It smears the hands, crumbles to dust. But the thing worth doing, well done, has a shape that satisfies, clean and evident. Greek amphoras for wine or oil, Hopi vases that held corn are put in museums, but you know they were made to be used. The pitcher cries for water to carry, and a person for work that is real.
Hi. We get to sing Fire of Commitment this morning, which is always a rousing anthem. In your teal hymnals, it's number 1028. If your body is cooperating with you today, you may rise or you may sing joyfully from your seat as your body allows.
Fire
Hello, I'm Janet Meyer. I'm the president of this fine congregation. When I use she, her pronouns. When I last stood up here, we were saying goodbye to Reverend Lydia. What a full and meaningful and emotional weekend that was. Phew. I know I came away from it so impressed with the vibrance of our community, the strength of our love, and the commitment to our shared vision. Now, we have embarked on this time of transition and a time where our congregation is taking the lead as we head into our future. What I see all around me is evidence that we are thriving. Our RE programs are growing with more and more families with young children finding their way here and then returning because of what they find. A dynamic and creative program for the children and youth, and intergenerational community, which is so rare in our society these days. New adult classes are being offered, and opportunities for social connection and spiritual growth are abundant. Our music program is evidently as strong as ever, with their voices. Yes, that's right. With their voices, our voices, moving us week after week with gorgeous renditions of songs that deepen and amplify the message of each service. Our services are rich in meaning and sustain us through another week of challenges, whether those challenges be at home or in the news. Meal trains, pastoral visits, and helping hands are extended as we care for and are cared for by others. Our building is buzzing with activity and opportunities for collaboration with our neighbors and community partners are coming in week after week. We've been told by consultants not to be surprised if our membership sags or our pledges decline, because it often happens when a minister leaves. And while I don't doubt that that is often the case, I don't think that has to happen here. Because what I see around me isn't a deflated community. I see a congregation that's in great shape, in good spirits, and investing in itself. Woo! So let me tell you a story that illustrates this. Hold on to your hat or your scarf. As you may know, the week before Lydia's last service, during a tech rehearsal, the soundboard at the back of the sanctuary started smoking. I kid you not. I don't know a lot about AV technology, but I know enough to know this was not a good thing. In the weeks following this, I exchanged a number of emails back and forth with Deborah, our AV team lead, about the soundboard, its history of problems, repair estimates, and so forth. It became clear that we were going to have to spend some money not previously budgeted to address the situation. There was some sense that our current soundboard, even though it was relatively new, might be a lemon. And I started to wonder if we might be better off just replacing it. But since neither repair nor replacement was in our budget, we had some tough decisions to make. I composed an email outlining the situation and sent it off to some of our congregational leaders for their advice about how to proceed. One of those people, who asked to remain anonymous, replied that they would fully fund the best option. Stunned, I wrote back to clarify. To which they responded, "What I meant by select the best option is don't economize. Truly make the best long-term choice. Do it right. Don't accept less than the best. We are big admirers of Deborah and appreciate all that she does for the fellowship. We want her to have the equipment that accommodates the many uses." Wow. I can barely say the words without getting choked up. Here was someone who wasn't daunted by the fact that we were going through a change in ministers. They were committing to the fellowship big time, confident in our future and putting their faith in us, our staff, our congregation, our community during this time of change. Today is the kickoff to our pledge drive, and it is your chance to invest in us, our collective vision, and our shared future by contributing your time, treasure, and talents. Of course, not everyone can afford to buy a new soundboard, and thank goodness we've got that covered. But if we each give what we can, we will meet our goals and ensure a strong future for our congregation. When I told this story to the members of our executive committee, one person shared that they were inspired to increase their pledge by 25%. Another person chimed in they were increasing their pledge by 10%. It's exciting to be part of a collective effort like this. All members and friends will be contacted by a fellow congregant acting as a steward on behalf of our fellowship to arrange a visit in the next few weeks, either in person or by Zoom if you prefer. A visit with your steward is a chance to talk over what the fellowship means to you and how you can do your part going forward, not just financially, but also in terms of your skills and talents as well. Together, I truly believe that we can make our pledge goal and move into this next phase of fellowship life stronger than ever. We can do it.
We can do it. Thank you, Janet. Thank you for that beautiful reminder of the love within this community. And now, each week, we have the time to prove this maxim that we can do it again and again by sharing our abundance, giving half of our plate to organizations that share our values. And today I'm proud to announce that the half plate is for Doctors Without Borders. They are an independent and impartial medical humanitarian organization that provides medical care, empathy, compassion to all patients, regardless of race, religion, ethnicity, or politics. From Palestine to Israel, Sudan to Ukraine, civilians and medical facilities should never be the target of war. Doctors Without Borders is entirely funded by independent donors. When a crisis strikes, they can immediately mobilize and save lives, sometimes within hours. Please text your donation to the number on the screen, or if you are here in the fellowship, place your offering in the plate as it passes. Please give generously, as you so often do, to continue to provide medical aid where the needs are greatest.
Send me, send me. Press on, we will sing a peaceful song. But still we're praying on. How
Thank you. Press on for love, for reason, compassion, and justice without borders, and Doctors Without Borders. We dedicate this offering. Thank you. As a spiritual community, we set aside time each week to honor the circle of life. We share our sorrows that together our burdens may be lightened. And we share our joys that together our gladness may be multiplied. I invite you and all of you joining us from afar into this time of community connection, our time of sacred sharing, the joys and concerns of our lives. Wherever you may be, if you're joining us from afar, tell us your name and where you are. And I'll share what you type in the chat with everyone here in person in the sanctuary. And if you're here in person with us, I'll invite you to come up to the front as you feel so moved and let us know briefly what's on your heart today. And Scott will add a stone to our shared waters on your behalf. You may also add a stone in silence. And we add one last stone for the joys and concerns that remain in the silent sanctuary of our hearts, for those souls remembered and forgotten. May there be peace in our hearts and the world. Amen.
We'll now sing together again. This is one that's familiar to many of us, the meditation on breathing. It's number 1009 in the teal, but I would encourage you to maybe not look at your hymnal if you think you can get away with that. And I think this feels like a good one maybe just to remain seated while we sing. So Claire and Amy and I will sing the three parts, and you can just sing whatever feels right.
breathe
breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out loud. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out loud. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out.
It was a long way for her family to come, all the way from Tulsa, Oklahoma. Anywhere is a long way to come when you have 2 kids, a preschooler and a baby in tow. Remember that when you see families coming here. Her dad, Joseph, was a mining engineer, and her mom, Esther, a homemaker. They moved often to follow Joseph's job, 2 parents, and eventually 8 children. At that time, they settled in Alameda, California, just outside of San Francisco. The geographical distance from Oklahoma to Alameda, less than the cultural distance. She was the 3rd child, too young when they moved to remember Tulsa. Her earliest memories were of Alameda beaches, birds, San Leonardo Marina. She grew up there, and then she went to high school in LA. At 20, she waited tables, now an adult ready for change. And change befell her as Pearl Harbor bombs fell. She heard the call to serve, duty to country, and it was a stronger call than duty to customers. She convinced her younger sister to join her. Where? To work at the Alameda Naval Air Station's machine shop. They were some of the first women to take jobs the men left behind who went to war. They worked for a going rate of 50 cents an hour. In current day dollars, that's $10.84. The minimum wage right now in Colorado is $14.42. The women had to quickly learn how to repair the Navy's combat-damaged aircraft. They learned to weld, to drill, and, yes, to rivet. In early 1942, the Bureau of Labor Statistics predicted a major problem. The country was about to face a shortage of 6 million workers. A shortage of 6 million workers in 1942 meant the country's productivity would come to a complete halt by the end of the following year. Yet, the country already had the skilled labor it needed. It just looked a little different than they expected. Sometimes the resources we need are already in our midst. They may just look a little different than we expect. The world wars were total wars, meaning they required governments to utilize their entire population to face the challenges ahead of them. And that's not unlike congregational life. Thankfully, we are not at war. But there's no shortage of challenges as you navigate this transition to your interim minister coming in August, eventually your search process, and fundraising to replenish your rainy day funds, to fund not only the present but the future. And those of you inside leadership and in the know you need to raise your income and pledges by 5%. That takes everyone in the congregation. So what would it look like if we utilize our entire population for the challenges we face? That waitress born in Tulsa who came of age in LA, she was a quick study, mastering the turret lathe. She and her 18-year-old sister drilled and patched airplane wings and operated rivet machines. She went to work that day in coveralls. She tied her hair back for safety with a polka-dotted bandana. On that day, a photographer came to the naval base, and he got the perfect shot. Soon thereafter, it was published in the newspaper. She cut it out and saved it. Aside from the photographer, it was a regular workday for her and for her coworkers, and for many of them, it was another day of parenting too. So most of the women who took those jobs were also full-time single parents. So women with school-aged children created groups to share chores, cooking, cleaning, and laundry. Women with young children at home rented apartments and houses together to save time, money, utilities, and food. They'd work different shifts so they could take turns caring for the children. I'm not quite sure when they slept. Amazing things can happen when we pool our resources, our time, talent, and treasure. Later that year, the song Rosie the Riveter hit the airwaves and became a smash. I don't know 40s lingo. We were past the bee's knees. So Rosie the Riveter became the name of a social movement that increased the number of working women by 57%. In 4 years, between 1940 and 1944, maybe like around the time since this sanctuary was constructed, are we at 4 years? 8 million women started working outside of the home. The women were united and proved themselves to one another and the country that they could do a man's job and do it well. The Rosie the Riveter song describes this. Keeps a sharp lookout for sabotage sitting up there on the fuselage. That little frail can do more than a man can do. It's Rosie the Riveter. 50 years later, the Harvard Business Review said not only did Rosie do it, she did it better than anyone had ever done it before. During the 5 years that she was on the shop floor from 1942 to 47, productivity rose Product cycle time dropped and quality improved. In just 6 years prior, a total work stoppage was predicted. And so I wonder, what if in this time of transition, you too feel empowered, proud, productive as a congregation, as individuals? She felt empowered, proud, and productive. Waitress turned machinist, red polka dots and blue denim, color captured in black and white on that day on the machine shop floor. That photo inspired artist J. Howard Miller's "We Can Do It" poster. The iconic painting was actually only displayed in the Westinghouse Electric Corporation plants for 2 weeks in 1942. It was actually never a government recruitment poster, though there were many of those. The Office of War Information. It's like coming right out of Harry Potter. That poster, 2 weeks only for just employees encouraging their work ethic and to reduce absenteeism, its day had not yet come, and maybe yours hasn't either. It came of age during the feminist movement of the 1980s, where it became a symbol of strength and resilience. The Rosie in that painting was inspired by the Rosie in that photo. Who was she? Debates ensued for decades. There were 4 women who were thought to be the original Rosie, but no one knew. No one knew, not even Rosie herself. 1984. 53 years after that photographer walked on that shop floor, she saw a reprint of that photo in Modern Maturity magazine. She thought to herself, that woman looks a lot like I did when I was younger. 1994. Miller's iconic Rosie poster graced the March 1994 cover of Smithsonian Magazine. She saw that and she thought, she looks like the woman at the lathe who looked like me. Sometimes we may not recognize who we are at first. Sometimes we may not recognize who we can become, and this is true for people and for congregations. Do you recognize who you are? Do you recognize yet who you can become? Fast forward 12 years. She made her way to the Rosie the Riveter World War II Homefront National Historic Park. She was headed there for a reunion of female war workers. And there, in the national park, the original photo was on display, captioned with Geraldine, another woman's name. It came back to her. This time she remembered. She remembered that she had saved that photo in the newspaper from 1942. And sometimes we can remember what we have forgotten, who we are, who we can become, those dreams deferred. Later that year, the world found out she was right. Dr. James Kimball, a communication professor, found the original photo from a vintage photo dealer. On the back, in the photographer's own hand, it read, March 24th, 1942, Alameda, California. pretty Naomi Parker looks like she might catch her nose in the turret lathe she is operating. He tracked her down, and her sister Ada, and he visited them where they were living in Cottonwood, California in 2015. It was indeed Mrs. Naomi Parker Fraley. She showed him the newspaper clippings she had saved for 73 years. So, we've identified the woman in the picture. But who's the real Rosie? Like most things in life, that is a much more complex question with a much more complex answer. You see, those 20 million women working during the war, over 1 million were black. Another 6,500 black women served in the military and the Women's Army Corps. But they weren't represented. They weren't the Rosies considered worthy of representation. The ones that were, those Rosies were wearing a blue suit, a red bandana, and were white. The icon of American women heroes in World War II wore literally red, white, and blue. Who do we not see in our midst? Who is not represented? As ministers, we try to preach to the empty pew. What if who we are is a lot broader than we know in this country, in this state, in this county and town, and in this congregation? Who were the real Rosies? The real Rosies were every woman who worked in the war effort. The woman heroes whose faces we never saw. Women across lines of class, race, and education, working and feeding the children and staying up nights and changing diapers and riveting. And we imagine this one individual Rosie, but the truth is no one Rosie could do it. Every job on that machine shop floor required two. You see, during World War II, the women who worked to produce tanks, ships, planes, and ammunition and fix all of those things called themselves Rosies. Because being a Rosie was a choice. And it's a choice you can make too. It's a name you can call yourself. We can be a Rosie when we choose to connect with others, to find, to be, and to see the resources already in our midst. Sometimes the battles of our lives require a big effort, a total effort. Doing things that we thought were impossible with resources we didn't know we had. And you may not know those resources. You may not recognize who you are as a person, as a people. You may not recognize who you can be as a person and a people, but you can. You can make a choice. You can be a Rosie. That's you. That's you. Or you. All of you out on Zoom. Any of us can, and all of us can when we say, yes. Yes, we can. Say it with me. Yes. Yes, we can. A little louder. Yes. Yes, we can. And one more time, like you really believe it. Yes. We can. We can. That's right. That's right. I bring a little of the black church tradition from Southside Chicago. Gonna have you all raising hell by the end of the 6 months. And yes, yes, we can. I invite our Pledge Drive co-chairs, Wendy Highsmith and Jean Cannella, to come forward. Pledge stewards here in the sanctuary, I invite you all to come forward, standing at the base of the dais. And for our Zoom stewards joining us from afar, turn on your camera. Use your reaction video, and you can raise your virtual hand, and that way we can see you as you can see us.
Thank you. There's someone not standing up here who has done a tremendous job for us as a congregation. Nancy, would you please stand? All of the graphics, all of the artwork, it comes from Nancy's creativity, imagination, and her talent. And she got the idea and truly ran with it. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Today, we covenant as a way to state our best intentions towards one another in this pledge drive. And I'm going to say what's not in script. Talking about money is uncomfortable, okay? We know that. In church, we do sex, God kind of politics and money. So let's be gentle and loving with one another. And so, stewards, will you covenant with the congregation? I'll ask you a few questions. If you will respond, we will. To listen to congregants' dreams and concerns with open hearts. To keep private what should be kept private. To share only that information which you have been asked to share. Members and friends, we ask you to covenant with one another, to pledge your time, talent, and treasure for the ongoing work and life of this community. And will you, in turn, make time in your busy lives to accept a stewardship visit, to prepare for the conversation by reflecting on your own resources and the value of the fellowship in your lives, to support this congregation? Can you do that to the best of your ability? I invite you all to return to your seats as a people of commitment, as a people of hope.
It's hard to believe in the sun in the dark of the night. And it's hard to believe in the stars in the bright morning light. Well, we all need a place we can go to learn what is real, to ponder the depths of the soul where truth is revealed. place. This is our home, working and seeking, we're never alone. In this foreign soul, these windows and walls, love's empty home, King of all, is great for the journey. For what a
It's hard to believe there is peace when war rages on. And it's hard to believe there is love in hate's raging from. But for every brave soldier, a peacemaker takes her own stand. And for every soul long turned away, there waits a new hand. Oh, let it be you. Let it be me. Here in us dwelling, we learn to believe. This foreign soul, these windows and walls, love's empty home, King of all, is great for the journey. Circle of flame, people of love, people of hope, people of change. When the place is what welcomes you in, you build it, you change it, so the promise of love can begin here in this room, here in these halls, hearts open wide, welcoming all. In this border and stone, these windows and walls, love's earthly home, King of all, it's spread for the journey, live for the flame, for people of love, people of hope, people of change. For people of love, people of hope, people of change. Living out love, living out hope, living out change. Sing out for love, sing out for hope, sing out for change.
So now I believe in the sun in the dark of the night.
Please join with me together as people of change, people of hope, as we extinguish this chalice here in the sanctuary and here in Zoom. We extinguish this chalice, but not the warmth of love, the light of truth, nor the energy of action. These we carry in our hearts until we meet again. I invite you, as you feel so moved, to join hands, give yourself a big hug, You know, the thing about hope is it's easy when things are going well. And so when you've built this sanctuary of mortar and stone, it's a house to hold you when things are not going well. And you've never gone too far that you can't come back. Be a people of hope and a people of change. There's your good word. Go in peace and have a hell of a lunch.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.